Hi there, ZenWitch here with another unboxing video. I got a new deck. It is the Medieval Cat deck, and I'm really excited to shoot a video, of it because I've been dying to use it. And I'll give something a little test run when I first get it, but then I put them back in order so I can do these videos and things look all orderly. But there's what the box looks like. This is a US Games deck from 2004. There's the Popess. That one is the Magician, as you can see, Medieval Tarot, by Lawrence Teng. There's the Fool and somebody else. Okay, the Glory of Felines is celebrated with Renaissance flair. Teng has created an ornate deck that blends classical and contemporary ideologies and artistic styles. With booklet text by Gina M. Medieval Cat Tarot is a beautifully aristocratic deck with a humorous twist. So it does sound like the author of this deck is the artist, and that makes me happy. I have a pet peeve about decks that are going under one name, and that is the name of the writer and no mention of the artist. I've seen decks like that, and it bugs me. Okay, so here are the blocking cards for this deck when it was initially opened. Total transparency, right? Medieval Cat Tarot, artwork by Lawrence Teng, text by Gina M. and Lawrence Teng, published by US Game Systems. And then this one says, the cat's role, it says illuminated cats. The cat's role in occult practice often overshadowed its more mundane side as a domesticated creature. Cats were not always worshipped, nor were they always persecuted, for there were times in between these two extremes when cats were allowed to simply be cherished household pets. In fact, the majority of the historic engravings and paintings that we can find depicting Felis domesticus portray cats as ordinary creatures. The Medieval Cat Tarot took this same domestic approach and added a new twist to it by having the cats act out the scenes of the Tarot. Inspired by 15th century art, this enlightening art project culminated with an illuminated cat deck that seeks to bridge a gap between the traditional and modern Tarot imagery. So cool. And you see we've got the little white book here. So let's get to the images, eh? All right. The Fool, with his little jester's hat about to walk off the cliff there. The Magician. Let's do it this way. And I guess it doesn't matter because I'm going to shuffle them anyway. The Magician, the Popess, the Empress, Emperor, the Pope. So instead of Hierophant and High Priestess, we've got the Pope and Popess. The Lovers. You can see that the images do echo the classic Tarot. The Chariot, and there's kitties. Justice. Some decks switch Justice and Strength, so this one has Justice up first. The Hermit, shining his light with the little owl on the shoulder. Wheel of Fortune. Strength. Let me pull down a little bit more light for you there. There we go. Hanged Man. That's an interesting take. So interesting. He's like actually holding on there, and it looks like he could let go if he wants to. So that's how they get that aspect of the card of being willingly submissive. Death. That's very cool. Look at the butterflies. Symbol of death and rebirth. Temperance. The Devil. Ooh, it's like a fox with a cat mask. The Tower. Kitties a tumbling down. The Star. The Moon. Interesting. That's a waning crescent. When the horns point to the right, it's a waning crescent. The Sun. Jugement. Judgment. And the World. Okay. And now we go to the suits. Starting with Wands. That's like there's a lizard there. Okay. Okay, so we've got kind of pip cards with a little image in the center. And 2 of Wands measuring out a map. 3 of Wands, there's the ship. So they do definitely harken back to the standard imagery. 3 of Wands being the one watching out and seeing ships come in. Okay, 4 of Wands, the marriage card. And those images are going to be small for you to see, but they're there and they definitely echo classical tarot. 5 of Wands, 6, the victory card, 7, everything coming at you, 8, things happening fast, 9, boundaries, and 10, carrying a burden. I really like the way they condense those standard images into like the pith of what the standard tarot images show. Page of Wands, there's the fire element, so wands are fire in this deck. Knight, Queen, and King. Fire prominent in all of those. Now we have swords, and that's what that creature was. The lizard was a salamander, which is a symbol of fire. So we've got birds here, swords being air. I'm going to do a whole video on air and fire and swords and wands and see what you think of that sometime. Okay, 2 of swords, there's the blindfold. 3, literally being stabbed in the heart. 4 is rest. 5 is victory. Victory, it's conflict. Victory or defeat. 6 is trying to get somewhere. There he is in the boat on the water. 7, the thief card, or somebody absconding. Look at the bird. This bird has flown. That's kind of interesting. That's an interesting portrayal. Something having gotten away. 8, no blindfold on the 8 of swords, but definitely trapped, definitely in jail, locked up. But look, the key is hanging right there. So in the 8 of swords in the classical tarot, she's got a blindfold on and feels like she's in prison. If she just takes the blindfold off, she can see it's just swords and she can step right through them. This is showing that you're actually locked in, but there's a key right there to let yourself out. Okay. 9 of swords. Oi. Yeah, sword of Damocles hanging over your head. 10 of swords. The swords fall. Page. Look at the kite. Is there a key? No, just a kite. Knight. Queen. And king. Cool. All right. Here comes water and the fish. 2, 3, celebration. 4, kind of disappointment. 5, just boo-hooing. 4 can be like sulking and pouting, and that's definitely feeling the stress. 6 is hearkening back to better times. 7, wool gathering, daydreaming. 8 is, ooh, look at him dumping the cups down the well. Like, okay, I'm done with this. 9 is happiness, wish fulfillment. 10 is real happiness. There's the page, and the knight, and the queen, and the king. Okay. And then we've got rats or mice for the pentacles. Not really pentacles here. We've got the 5 of mice. It's got to be mice because it's cats. Duh. Okay, ace of mice, 2 of mice. Okay, he's got actual balls to juggling things. Yeah, that harkens back for sure. 3 of pentacles, practice mastery. 4 is, ooh, look at, he's got everything locked up so tight even he can't get to it. That's a good interpretation. Usually showing the king, you know, weighed down and holding a pentacle and under both feet and kind of bound. Okay. 4, where we are. 5, feeling out in the cold. 6, money that's not worked for, some kind of gift. 7, things bearing fruit. 8, hi Gib. That's my cat. That's Gibby, one of my kitties. You know I'm talking about the cats tarot, right? Medieval cats. 8 is apprenticeship. 9 is everything you need for yourself. 10 is, wow, look at that achievement. Page, knight, queen, and king. So I gotta say, art-wise, these are really nice. I love the reinterpretation of the standard images. It really does get to the point of it for me. You know, the crux of the biscuit there. Whoops, take out the blocking cards. The little white book. I think I'm just gonna like cut, shuffle, and do a 1-card thing so we can take a look at how the meanings are written. To Gina Pace, it all began with The Fool. A very special thanks to Gina for all her guidance and encouragement. Okay. There's an introduction. Talking about just the, you know, their artistic concept. And then we swing right into the majors. So not a lot of pre-talk. I like that. And then, wow, we've got like long, each one has a page and it's just solid writing. It's not like keywords and then upright and then reversed. Let me see if I can find a shorter one here to see how it plays out. Let's go to the Popes. We see before us the Popes are the symbol of the divine feminine. Many believe this icon to be based upon Christian legends of the female Pope Joan. Ooh, we're getting into deep stuff here. More importantly, however, is her role as the oracle in our search for our own self-wisdom and spiritual freedom. Dressed in the soothing, nurturing colors of the Blessed Virgin Mary, she appears before, which, you know, of course, those colors came from the goddess before her. Trying to see if I can find her real quick here. Too late for real quick already, but that's just as here we go. There she is. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. There she is. Dressed in the colors of it, she appears before us as a spiritual mother welcoming us to ourselves, as the key to our own spiritual destiny awakens and the path widens before us. This key is not connected to religion in any organized form, but marks the place where we find divinity within ourselves. Perhaps the most apt expression here is know thyself. Pomegranate fruits on the plant behind her are a symbol of our ripening consciousness, as the seeds of awareness move to awaken our sleeping consciousness. When the Popes appears to us in a reading, so at the very, very end here, we have a divinatory. When the Popes appears to us in a reading, we must ask ourselves where it is that we may be looking for our answers outside of ourselves, and the truth we seek may be seen within, not without. Okay, so there's a, you know, a setup, and then there's a pretty pithy little section of here's what it means in a reading. So let me take a shuffle. And I also want to take a peek here. So we go through the majors, and then we hit the minors. Oh, and we do court cards first. So we do all the pages. It's interesting to see how different decks organize court cards. And court cards are the kind of the bane of my existence. I hate court cards because they're slippery. They can mean a lot of different things. They can mean, you know, actual people, but I don't ever go with the, you know, light hair, young, old, light hair, dark eyes, whatever, you know, they're the coloring that's supposed to go with the cards because it is pretty racist. But it's interesting. It's just interesting how different decks arrange them. You know, it bears a little bit of research, and I may do that one of these days. So it goes with the pages, the knights, the kings, the queens, and then, or the queens, the kings, and then each of the minors has a smaller section of meaning. Okay, so let's do I am going to do a riffle shuffle first, just to judge that part of it. They're bendy. Ooh, they shuffle so nicely. I like it. And looky what I have here too. While I'm at it, I'm going to bless this deck. Okay, so let me kind of fan them out here a little bit. All right. This is the cleaning part. All right. And then, come on. Could have planned this a little better. That's frankincense for the sun. And myrrh for the moon. To bless it some more. Okay. And then I'm also going to put a little pinch of the fire of Azrael incense, which enhances the sight, enhances vision, enhances divinatory tools. All right. Cut through. Oh, well, okay. That's it. The Fool came popping out. All right, we'll go with that. So, our journey begins with the Fool, youthful in outlook, though not necessarily in years. The Fool is symbolic of a fresh new perspective and the ability to take life on its own merits. He is without preconceived expectations of what is owed to him or what he's supposed to be having or doing. When viewing the Fool, we see there is a cliff ahead, and we must ask ourselves if the risk is that of real danger, or is it the risk of being trapped in our own fears and never stepping out into the unknown. This is really good. We see that our Fool travels lightly. He does not even carry a backpack. He accepts that life will bring him what he needs when he needs it, or else he will be guided to find it, even in regards to his own sustenance. The promise of a new day dawns ahead, and when the Fool comes up in a reading, we must prepare ourselves for anything. This means asking ourselves whether we are holding ourselves back from accepting any possibilities that are available to us, or perhaps taking unnecessary risks. The one thing we do not leave behind when seeing the Fool in a reading is personal responsibility for our actions. We may be lighthearted and not bogged down by unhappiness, but we cannot simply walk away from those people and things who truly deserve our attention. That's amazing. That's just an amazing all-round description of the Fool and what it stands for. I really, really love the writing. This will be a good study deck. And this will be a deck when I work with it. I will definitely look up meanings because there's a lot to be had in these meanings. And it also seems like it would be a good one-card reading deck, especially with the majors. And you can do one-card readings like that with just the major arcana of a deck when you want to see exactly what big life energy is kicking your ass at the current time. Okay, let's just cut here. Four of what? Four of mice, which I guess is the pentacles. And I didn't have any question in my head, so we're just, taking another look at. Oh, the wands come last. Coins. So we go coins. The pip cards go coins, swords, cups, and then wands. Like exactly opposite of the way they usually go. I like this. A little contrary, like cats. Okay, Four of Coins shows where we feel threatened by what we have experienced in the past. Our security is exercised in overkill because our perception of danger or struggle is much more than the reality. We may actually be safe, but we still feel intimidated. We must realize that our foundation has been laid securely, and we may now build upon it. Okay. Cool. This is really, I gotta say, I'm liking this deck. The artwork, I kind of wish these images were big because the images are so good and evocative and they really bring a bit of a new slant on the standard imagery. And I wish they were bigger. But that's a small complaint because I like the artwork. I mean, the backs are kind of ho-hum, not really my color palette. If I want to get really personal about it, but fuck that. This is a deck. I really like it. I like the writing. I like the artwork. I like the way it handles. Good job, US Games. I mean, this has been out for 15 years, but I'm going to reblock here and put them back in the box. So there you have it. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know if there are any decks you'd like to see. Please like and subscribe and click the notifications when you subscribe so that you know when my videos drop. I drop an unboxing video every Monday, and I'm doing tarot and oracle and non-card divinatory tools as well. So thanks for showing up. And hey, let's bring Socrates in here for his opinion. Socrates, what do you think of this deck? Is this going to be a good deck for me to read with?
You're a fucking loser.
Boy, it didn't take you very long. Okay, then I'll just use it for my own fun. All right, whatever. So again, thanks so much for showing up, and I will see you next week, and I'll pop in for some lives here and there too. Thanks for showing up. Blessed be.